I declare this congregation of the University of Sussex open. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you formally to this graduation ceremony. A warm welcome to our honoured guests, friends of the university, and to our faculty members and those representing the professional services here at Sussex. But my warmest welcome is to you, our graduands, and the families and friends that join you here today. And also to those who couldn't make it here in person and may be catching this via live video stream. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world, and if it's in the middle of the night, nice pajamas. Sussex University was founded on modern outward-looking principles, a forum that encourages unconventional approaches to problem solving and embraces concepts and experiences from different backgrounds, cultures, and belief systems, realizing that invention and innovation doesn't ally itself with any color or creed. Utilizing these principles, students from Sussex have gone on to high achievement in the arts. In fact, this last year, 2 alumni, Jolyon Rubinstein and Hayden Prowse, won BAFTAs for their BBC comedy, The Revolution Will Be Televised. But also in politics, commerce, and science all around the world. And so in that light, we are particularly proud to be welcoming graduands representing over 85 different nations at these ceremonies. But back to you and today. Today marks a watershed in your life story so far. The volume marked the academic years. Some of you will be going on to further academic study, but for the majority, the conclusion of this ceremony will bring to a close your formal education. A story that began all those years ago on that first day of nursery or kindergarten as you cried with confusion as your parents abandoned you. And they pretended to cry and went home and had a party. Through all those years of early school where you brought home your art, splodges of misshapen paint with bits of glitter and cotton wool stuck to it that your family treated like it was a Jackson Pollock and stuck it on the kitchen wall. And over the years, you continued to bring home these pastel abominations, and it's safe to say that your families treated all of them as a load of Pollocks. Then came the joy of the teenage years, growing bones, hormones, and sarcastic tones. And then came the pressure of all those exams that would determine your future, and partying too hard and drinking too much, not enough sleep, relationships, rejection, confusion, and then came Sussex. And more of the same. No, of course it wasn't. You came to Sussex and it was all gentle study, juice bars, chess clubs, knitting classes, and the occasional ice cream on the beach, wasn't it? It's for the parents. I suppose what I'm trying to highlight here is the momentous journey that you've already been on to get here. I know that many of you would have had to have dealt with plenty of challenges, dealing with financial debts, loss of loved ones, illness, juggling personal responsibilities, and yet you prevailed. You did it. You're here. And we're here too. Although these continue to be uncertain, austere times, Sussex looks forward to dealing with the challenges of remaining competitive, relevant, and appropriate on the world academic map. In this last year, a survey in the Daily Telegraph found that Sussex students are the most likely to be thinking and working on their future careers early in their studies. Sussex scientists have launched the B app so we can better understand and reverse the trend of their decline. And Sussex academics have developed the Mappiness app to build up a map of where and when people are at their happiest. For me, it was the Caribbean 2001, but since I'm married now, I can't say anything more about that for legal reasons. Now, you're probably thinking, could you stop talking now so we can get on to the Vice-Chancellor's address and the ceremony? All we want to do is to get across the stage without losing our hats or tripping over and landing in the lap of someone in the front row. And my, what a choice of laps you have this afternoon. It's like the sequel to Les Miserables. Les Miserables 2. A little more miserable. But on a technical note, graduands, you haven't actually got your degrees yet, and you getting one may just depend on how much love you show me when you come up here. It really is simple as that. No love for the Chancellor, no degree. This is a wonderful occasion for families as well. It's always lovely to see, parents, grandparents, little kids, friends here, and a note to you as well. Please feel free to whoop, applaud, make some noise, and generally embarrass your loved ones as they come up here. They did it enough times to you over the years. I call this payback time. Graduands, this is a celebration, so feel free to express who you are when you come up here within the bounds of common decency and legality. I call upon the Vice-Chancellor to address the congregation. Thank you.
Chancellor, Madam Mayor, graduands, Les Miserables, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Oh, not bad, but I think we could do better. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Fantastic. So, well, it's a real pleasure to add my welcome to this summer graduation ceremony. Graduation is a highlight of the academic year and the time when we on stage, mums and dads and families out there in the auditorium, can truly indulge in your success. Although graduation has its formal aspects, you may have noticed that we made a bit of an effort to dress up for the occasion. As the Chancellor has indicated, it is a time to relax, have fun, and embarrass is the keynote word. Embarrass your loved ones as they walk, run, trip, dance across the stage. And we do actually monitor the sound generated during each ceremony, so we get you on a scale of 0 to 10, and we feedback later. But before we get into the main business of the day, I thought I should just say something about the university. Sussex has had a good year, despite having to tussle, like all universities, with the massive changes that are occurring in response to the government's approach to the funding of higher education. Despite this, during the past 3 years, Sussex has grown in size by about 1,000 students a year. The university continues to be a popular destination for UK, EU, and overseas students. It's not surprising, therefore, that we are graduating more students at these summer ceremonies than ever before. Well over 2,500 of you during the next few days. About 100 nations will be represented at these ceremonies, and a wide spectrum of ages, going from the 2nd decade right through to the 8th decade. So formal education is now something that extends across at least 6 of Shakespeare's 7 ages of man. We're currently preparing our next 5-year strategic plan. And we believe strongly that the university should continue to grow, a view endorsed by the university's council and senate. Now, why do we think this is right? For me, there are 3 main reasons. Firstly, we believe that the Sussex experience is still distinctive, and we want more students to share in that experience with us. But as our student numbers increase, our academic faculty, lecturers, professors, our teachers and our researchers will also grow. For example, in the past 5 years, we've recruited more than 50 additional new professors and promoted a similar number of our own academics to become professors in the university. This will support our ambition to expand the university's research capability and ensure that we continue to compete in the global research community, and at the same time be certain that we keep our place in the world's top 100 universities. Finally, being larger, we gain some of the benefits of scale, which include financial resilience. This has never been more important in this economically uncertain world. We've had a busy year. We've continued to celebrate our 50th anniversary, including events in the US, China, and Hong Kong. We've raised more than 3/4 of our £50 million 50th anniversary campaign target, and we continue to invest in the campus estate. I'd like to tell you about some of our other successes during the past year, but one of the things I've learned since coming to Sussex is that people seem to like me better the less I speak. So we've put together a short film which illustrates some of the highlights of the year. Thank you, and a special thanks to Rob Reed, Carrie Prue, and our communications team who were responsible for the video. In parallel with the growth in students and academic faculty, we are continuing to develop the campus to a quality that we believe will provide an unparalleled experience for students and staff. As you saw in the film, at the beginning of the year, we opened the new Jubilee building, a new home for business management, economics, and SPRU. We're also refurbishing our theatre complex to create the new Attenborough Centre for Creative Arts. It'll come, I promise. And giving another of our newer buildings, the Freeman Building, a serious makeover to provide a new home for our rapidly growing School of Law, Politics and Sociology. Both of these buildings will be open in 2014. And we're not finished yet. We're planning to renew the Science Estate and planning more student residential accommodation so that we can ensure that the future students will have high quality, affordable accommodation on campus. We're developing an investment plan for the campus for more than £200 million over the next 5 years. There are, however, some significant challenges ahead. We know and are all too aware of the heavy financial pressures faced by our students, and very concerned that these pressures are only going to increase in the future. I'm particularly concerned about the funding for master's programs and postgraduate research. We've created additional scholarships for Sussex graduates. The Sussex Graduate Scholarships are available to all Sussex graduates who achieve a first or a 2-1 in their undergraduate honours degree and wish to proceed directly to full-time postgraduate taught study. In addition, we have created over 100 Chancellor's Master's Scholarships for UK or EU nationals who receive a first from a UK university. These initiatives, which are additional to our international scholarships, are designed to show that Sussex, as a world-leading research-intensive university, is committed to retaining and attracting highly qualified and motivated postgraduate students, irrespective of their background. We're particularly proud of our first-generation scholars scheme that supports more than 1,000 students each year from families that have never had someone who has benefited from a university education. Many of us are still concerned that incoming students from overseas are regarded as immigrants by the Home Office and the visa application process, which remains excessively bureaucratic and we believe is acting as a major disincentive to potential applicants. We continue to make the case to the Home Office and the UKBA that our international students are not immigrants. We welcome you as highly valued guests. You make a vital intellectual contribution to the university, and through your presence create a global community on campus. And after graduation, we believe you are our best ambassadors when you return home to your own country. Now a few words to our graduates. You, our students, are the heart of the university. Without you, quite simply, the university would not exist. Sussex has always strived to create a learning and research environment that encourages independent thought, which hopefully allows you to leave the university with more questions than answers. And finally, a few words to families and friends. Firstly, can I join the Chancellor in thanking you for the support that you have given your sons and daughters, your partners, your spouses, and in some cases, parents and other family members during their time at Sussex, for it has helped to make today a reality. Many of you will have made great sacrifices to help your loved ones get to this point today. And the university fully recognises the important role that you have played, and we offer you our sincere thanks. And now, graduates, I hope that your experiences at Sussex have gone beyond the limits of your degree and that they will have gone some way to prepare you for the future. Knowing the current challenges that recent graduates are in, particularly with respect to getting appropriate graduate-level jobs, we've invested heavily in our careers and employability services, including a leadership accelerator program. There are signs that this investment is already beginning to pay off, with more Sussex graduates getting jobs last year than the year before. We're fully aware of the financial sacrifice that you have made to get here today. But remember, in those darker, gloomier moments, that the evidence is clear. UK graduates in the long run are happier, healthier, and wealthier than their peers who did not have a university experience. I also hope that you will be able to take our values such as freedom, tolerance, equality, social responsibility, and honesty forward into the next stage of your life. I would ask you to remember the multinational community that you have created here at Sussex and build on those experiences as you go out in the wider world. Sadly, we still live in a world where poverty, catastrophe, and conflict abound. We all have the responsibility to play our part to promote societal change, and I look to you and your Sussex experience to go out in the world and really make a difference. As you think about the new life that will begin to unfold when you leave the ceremony today, I would ask you to keep some time and space in your heart for Sussex. Remember, you will always be part of the Sussex family, and it is likely that we will need you in the future, perhaps more than you will need the university. You will, of course, be joining an illustrious group of alumni, many of whom have made major contributions to the worlds of politics, government, academia, the creative industries, business, international development, and so on. You name it, and you will find Sussex graduates worldwide changing lives and making an impact. Our alumni relations team will make sure that we stay in contact wherever you might be in the future. And for those families here today with previous generations of Sussex alumni as members, please call by at the alumni desk and say hello. And finally, let me take this opportunity to say again how proud of you we are and offer you our sincere congratulations. I wish all of you every good fortune for your chosen futures and hope that your experience at Sussex has gone some way to prepare you for the next stage of your life. My very best wishes to you all. I call upon the head of the School of English, Professor Tom Healy.
Chancellor, I present to you graduates from the School of English for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Drama Studies and English, Rocco Biancardi. Esme Clemmer. Harley Davies. Kim Inticknap. Elizabeth Fenn-Tai. Lydia Gamelin. Samantha Guntrip. Georgia Hudson. Nicola Keane. Emily Coppett. Fred Lintern. Amy Mackenzie. Anna Morton. Also awarded the prize for the highest ranking drama student, Vanessa Murray. James Spence. Nina Richardson Kassan. Victoria York. For Drama Studies and Film Studies, Sarita Dallimore. Samantha Moran. Anna Walker. Ruta Zamir. For Drama Studies and French with Study Abroad Year, Alice Ironsides. For Drama Studies and Italian with Study Year Abroad, Abigail Schur. I'm pleased to see, Chancellor, that you're getting a lot of love. For English, Aidan Aiken. Emily Barker. Stefan Barla. Caitlin Bartholomew. Eleanor Bell. Sophie Bernberg. Samuel Blouston. Sophie Calvert. Peter Carr. Claudia Cockrell. Kate Coenan Rowe. Claire Coley. Sophie Collins. Also awarded the Mary Dove Prize and the English Prize for the highest ranking English literature student, Joshua Cook. Georgia Cox. Also jointly awarded the School Prize for the best contribution to the student experience at the University of Sussex, Juliet Cool. Camilla Davies. Harriet Dawson. Rowan Dent. Luke Douglas. Joshua Feldman. Bianca Fuentes. Katie Gale. Poppy Gaunt. Madeline Graham. Anna Gross. Rebecca Hamill. David Hamilton Smith. Rebecca Handy. Oisin Harris. Emily Hart. Ellie Hayden. Harriet Hirschler. Emily Holliday. Isabel Honus. Sophie Howard. Joseph Jacobs. Charles Jasper. Kathleen Johnston. Ellen Jones. Gregor Kane. Lisa Kearley. Aisha Khan. Sarah Kimbley. Mairead Lucas. Georgina Malevska. Matilda Miles. Sophie Moonshine. Paul Moore. Mandalena Makongi. Laura Murray. Holly Nash. Bronwyn Ng Thomas. Jack O'Neill. Katie O'Shea. Oliver Pennell. Alice Piggott. Sophie Purcell. Sophie Rafoska Dunning. Alexander Rigby. Felix Riley. Philippa Roloff Standring. Rihanna Ronchetti. Ella Mae Russell. Amanda Salama Fernandez. Rose Saltio. Tamara Sampri Jawad. Anissa Sanford. Lauren Sedger. Kelly Silverton. Gabriella Smith. Olivia Smithies. Hannah Staff. Haley Talbot Tittle. Byron Taylor. Molly Taylor. Jessica Thompson. Katarina Chanernak. Tara Tunbridge. Joseph Upton. Melissa Wareham. Florence Warner. Max Williams. Caitlin Wilson. Cassandra Wilson. Harriet Wood. For English with Study Abroad year, Carolina Demi. Lynn Wynn. For English language, Kimberly Ash. Tom Barcroft. It's very physical at our school. Leslie Jane Carroll. Rajvinder Shima. Sophie Churcher. Amber Cordery. Emily Cousins. Sadie Elford. Shona Fahy. Also jointly awarded the school prize for best contribution to the student experience at the University of Sussex, Christian Ilbery. Emily Pannett. Lennox Pierre. Isabella Pompova. Chloe Smith. Emma Thomas. Sam Thorne. For English language teaching and German with study abroad year, Joanna Markovitz. Bethany Medcalf. Also awarded the Sussex Centre for Language Studies prize for the highest ranking English language teaching finalist, Catherine Jones. Amisha Peterfe. Fatima Polo. Stephanie Tilleridou. For English language and French with study abroad year, Charlotte Cooper. Andrea Picatho Luton. Francis Pope. For English language and literature, Tommaso Canizzani. Clara Suarez Soto. For English and Art History, Felicity Pirtle. For English and Film Studies, Martina Agata. Michael Anthony. Victoria Bodine. Harriet Christie. Jessica Gutch. Georgina Iliff. Christopher McKnight. Matthew Oliver. Catherine Pryor. Marie Stein. For English and French with Study Abroad Year, Holly Hinton-Smith. Also awarded the Peggotty Freeman Prize for Exceptional Achievement during a period of study abroad, Rosie Pierce. For English and History, Samia Begum. Holly Cook. Millie Manley. James McNaughton. Rosalind Prinell. Charlotte Smith. Sophie Wallace. Simon Young. For English and Media Studies, Sophie Barrett. Also jointly awarded the prize for the Best Media Studies dissertation, Nicola Haar. Lucy Howarth. Dale Jenkins. Pearlie Miller Todd. Hope Obertelli. Leon Peacham. Emma Simpson. Leaf Wild. For English and Spanish with Study Abroad Year, Louisa Hearn. Saskia Siddy. For French with Study Abroad Year, Emma Isles. Jessica Musgrove Ward. For French and Cultural Studies with Study Abroad Year, Clara Fitty. For French and Italian with Study Abroad Year, Rosie Conway. Mally Evans. Rose Malkin. For French and Spanish with Study Abroad Year, Sarah Laura Craig. Laura Gayette. Jade Huet. Also awarded the Sussex Centre for Language Studies Prize for the joint highest ranking modern language finalist, James Preston. For Italian and Spanish with Study Abroad Year, Ashley Kailaki. Chloe Etheridge. Lara Pace. Also awarded the Sussex Centre for Language Studies Prize for the joint highest ranking modern language finalist, Denise Teal. Languages, French and Spanish and Contemporary European Studies with Study Abroad Year, Felicitasis Newhouse. Spanish with Study Abroad, Sydney Sims. For Spanish and Contemporary European Studies, Thomas Herring. For Spanish and Contemporary European Studies with Study Abroad Year, Stephanie Hammett. Emma Kingswell. For Spanish and Cultural Studies with Study Abroad Year, Stephanie Spedding. For the degree of Master of Arts in English Language Teaching, Bilar Atan. Miriam Jakri. Chancellor, I will now present to you for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Patrick Bond. Simon Davies. Elizabeth Sage. Chancellor, this concludes the list of graduates from the School of English.
I call upon Professor Tom Healy to present Paul Thompson.
One of the most significant British films of the last 30 years is Terence Davies' 1988 reflection of Liverpool working class life during the mid-20th century, Distant Voices, Still Lives. The title is evocative as it captures both the fading sense of the social environment that the family portrayed inhabits, their apparent marginality, dysfunctionality, and their deadening entrapment in poverty, while also gesturing at their vigor and sense of community. They retain lives that are interesting. They reflect a world that even by the late 1980s has vanished, yet which continues to resonate. Davies' film asks us to think about our societal connectedness with a group who might otherwise only be known to history through crude economic and social data, oblivious to their vitality, forgetful of their having possessed lives. As Davies' film illustrates, a function of art is to remind us of the community and individual lives that exist in history. But art also consciously or unconsciously distorts. It approaches its subjects from its own generic convention. It is inclined to be truer to its own sense of artistry than to its historical accuracy. This introduction may begin to sound digressive from a celebration of the achievements of our honorary graduate, Professor Paul Thompson. Yet I think it helps characterize his astonishing achievement as a proponent of oral history and life writing. As the driving force, along with Sussex's own Asa Briggs, behind the establishment of the National Life Stories, now an important function of the British Library, Paul Thompson has quite simply been responsible for ensuring that voices that would have for millennia faded and have been forgotten are now kept present, helped by the technological achievement of sound recording and the opportunities our digital era offers for archiving. As a historian and sociologist, he has grappled with the vexed issues of how to ensure that such records are reliable documents for the social researcher rather than largely opportunities for the novelist or filmmaker. As a wonderful exponent of what interdisciplinarity can achieve, he battled to convince often skeptical social scientists and historians of the central value of oral history to their disciplines. As an astonishingly productive researcher, he has helped ensure that voices amongst groups ranging from Shetland Islanders, steel workers, Jamaican immigrant communities, city financiers, and indeed step families will be available to future researchers, now able to understand their social dynamics from their own perspectives. As a social historian, he has given us astonishing insight into the late 19th and early 20th century with his The Edwardians, the remaking of British society. As a conceptual thinker about oral history, his Voices of the Past, now in its third edition, has inspired and guided several generations of sociologists and oral historians. As a biographer, he has been a proponent of William Morris and the Victorian architect William Butterfield, championing them during the 1960s and early 1970s, when interest in late 19th century arts and craft and Gothic revival were distinctly out of fashion. His book on Morris, also now in its third edition, remains an essential guide to all aspects of Morris's endeavours. Sussex University is, of course, the host of the Mass Observation Archive and has long pioneered the importance of oral history and of using quotidian accounts as a means to explore the past. But in a broader sense, Paul Thompson is a most fitting holder of a Sussex honorary degree because his intellectual trajectory and his work have been fashioned by the opportunities offered by the establishment of the 1960s universities, of which Sussex was the first. Paul went to Essex in 1964, the year of that university's foundation, and he has stayed there, now as emeritus, throughout his career. Reading a long interview with him published in the mid-1990s, it is clear that he found the sense of intellectual possibilities, of thinking outside the box that these new universities promoted, immensely stimulating. It was at Essex that he began to explore how the recorded interview might be such a valuable tool for the social researcher. What now seems an obvious feature of listening to people, of letting them speak for themselves while being guided by the interviewer to examine a range of issues, was something that he began to explore seriously as a social research tool when he came to Essex, encouraged by a supportive department. Though he confesses he was actually frightened by interviewing because he was terribly shy, he persevered. His research for his book on the Edwardians was founded on a large number of interviews he conducted with those living from that era, and has underpinned his subsequent research. At Essex too, he founded the innovative MA in Social History, the first in the country to teach the methods of oral history as a crucial tool for social research. Paul Thompson has also championed oral history on the wider national and international scale. He helped found the Oral History Society and established the journal Oral History, as well as playing leading roles in the journal's life stories and memory and narrative, all of which have become the leaders in their fields. His dedication to oral history can be instanced by his helping to found the National Life Stories collections through donating a Henry Moore sculpture whose sale provided much-needed funds. Given Paul's love of art and having been introduced to Moore through an inspired master at his school, it must have been an extremely difficult decision to part with it. We are fortunate indeed he did so, because the National Life Stories collection has grown to be the largest repository of recorded oral histories in the world. This led further to cooperation with the BBC for the Millennium Oral History Project, The Century Speaks Out, which has now been also archived by the British Library as the Millennium Memory Bank. Like Distant Voices, Still Lives, Paul Thompson's work has emerged out of a strong sense of social commitment, a politics to give voice to those whose presence on the stage of history has too often been sidelined and marginalized. Our sense of the past is constantly evolving, and while Paul himself acknowledges it's a delusion to imagine that you can get to what really happened, his work has been seminal in changing our understanding of who matters in history. Although the current government sometimes appear to believe that we can and should reverse this democratic trend, Paul Thompson's past and current energies in freeing ordinary lives into history ensure that we shall never again experience such voices as distant or such lives as still. Chancellor, I present to you for the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa, Professor Paul Thompson.
By the authority of the Senate and the Council, University Council, it gives me great pleasure to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Letters honoris causa. Congratulations.
Chancellor, I thank you. I thank you all at Sussex for inviting me here to take part in this really quite splendid and extraordinary ceremony. I've never had the privilege to wear a round hat before. But more seriously, I am indeed very grateful to you for the conferral of this honorary degree, partly because Sussex, for me, I mean, I have been happily based for nearly 50 years at Essex University, but Sussex has always been almost like the parallel in my mind, the university that I might have come to. And indeed, I actually applied for my first job here and got rejected. Sussex and Essex are the two places where postgraduate oral history has been most taught in Britain. and that's a very important thing that we have in common. And I have another really crucial connection in that your second Vice-Chancellor, Asa Briggs, has been a crucial supporter of democratic people's history in Britain throughout my working life. And it was indeed, as Tom has said, with him that I set up National Life Stories at the British Library, which is now the prime centre of oral history in Britain. You can, if you're interested, you can find it on the internet, and you can download now literally thousands of oral history interviews. And I think that in itself symbolizes the path that I've followed, because when I first started oral history around 1970, the people who were interested would easily sit round a small table, and it was a very experimental attempt that we were making, and lots of major figures, including major figures in social history actually, were very skeptical. And I've seen it move from that tentative start to a worldwide and multilingual movement of enormous power and influence. In a way, an influence which is often not explicitly oral history, but which has seeped into the ordinary language of communication. I thought in coming here that I'd like to include in my team, or as it's been referred to, my family. It does include some of my family, certainly. Representatives both of Sussex and of Essex. So from Essex, there's myself, and also Joanna Bornat, who was the person from Essex who developed reminiscence group work with old people, which is a very important social dimension of oral history. And she became co-editor and then editor of Oral History, our journal, and then she went on to Sussex, to the Open University. And then from Sussex, there's Dorothy Sheridan, whose wonderful work with mass observation has already been mentioned. I think that's the finest autobiographical archive in Britain. And Harry Goulburn, who did an MA here in the 1970s. He was, I think, the first friend I made from Jamaica. And that's been a growing theme in my life, because my wife, Elaine, is from Jamaica. And the last book, which I did, is about Jamaican transnational families. It's called Jamaican Hands Across the Atlantic. Now, you might ask, what is oral history? And I would say, at its briefest, it's oral history. It's history based on listening to and recording people's life experiences, their life stories. It's a very old technique which goes back actually to the Greeks, but which has been given an immense impetus by the development of modern audio technology, and particularly digital technology. And what are the consequences then for studying history and society? Well, the first is a much broader base, that instead of just looking at elites, we're able now to look in depth at ordinary workers, at migrants, at women as well as men, and so on. Secondly, it opens up hidden areas of life which are not normally were not normally studied in the past, simply because the resources were not there, the evidence was not there. The most obvious being family relationships and sexuality. But informal work cultures are also extremely interesting. And then there's the whole area of deviance. With informal work cultures, let me just give you one example. One of my books is about the city financiers, who are rather well known today for their behavior. But we studied about 20 years ago an earlier generation. And the most extraordinary thing was that they had no economic or business training whatsoever. When they went for jobs, the interviews were not about business, they were about cricket or poetry. And then when they got their jobs in the city, they played around like they were still schoolboys. So in the stock exchange, people would have paper darts thrown at each other, or they would actually set light to their working papers just for the fun of it. A totally different world, which was, we found from our interviews, largely transformed by the arrival of women into the city. And the third thing is a new understanding. History and sociology have a new understanding of how consciousness is revealed by memory, including by apparently mistaken memories. That's a big topic, but a very important one. Now, finally, how is this relevant to all of us? Well, I would say through oral history, we can all learn to listen and to discover that innumerable people around us can tell us something interesting. It's a basic thing to discover in life. And secondly, we can also learn that people value being listened to and therefore being treated as significant. And that's another fundamental thing to understand. And I see these as crucial attitudes for making societies work as democracies. And I'd also like to see more of those values in contemporary higher education, more listening to students. You've heard from your Vice-Chancellor about students' independent thinking, and I think students have much more to offer in the creation of higher education today than they're given the chance for. And in relation to that, I believe very strongly in project work as a space for creative thinking. So with that in mind, I'd like to wish Sussex's students and staff today's and yesterday's creative and fulfilling lives and listening. Thank you.
I call upon the head of the School of Media, Film and Music, Professor Sue Thorman.
Chancellor, I present to you graduates in the School of Media, Film and Music. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Film Studies, Jack Avery. Kate Bergin. Laura Berkeley. Also jointly awarded the prize for the best film studies dissertation, Patricia Courtney. Kit Durant. Jessica Forbes. Conor Gare. Katie Gibbons. Sophie Groom. Otto Hills Fletcher. Sophie Jane Hunter. Sarah Kimber. Sorry, Sarah Kimber. Daniel Marcini. Rosalie Miller. Trashna Patel. Isabel Smith. Fergus Thompson. Jessica Tilley. Danny Tyndall. Alistair Train. Anthony Walker. And Martha Woodward. For film studies in German, with study abroad year, Merle Bulmer. For film studies in Spanish, with study abroad year, Elena Angelini. Stephanie Bright. For media practice and theory, Daniel Banks. Alexander Barnes. Natasha Butcher. Sam Kasman. Tiana Chan. Louis Clayton. Maria Cranfield. Daniel Fletcher. Yulia Fomicheva. Susanna Galeb. Louise Griffin. Christian Hall. Also jointly awarded the prize for the Best Media Practice Final Year Project, Dominic Hamilton. T. Huang. Katie Isbell. Edward Casper. Samantha Langley. Also jointly awarded the prize for the Best Media Practice Final Year Project, Michael Laver. Ho Ma. Rebecca Malloy. Kyriakos Michael. Nathan Mosby. Ewan Newbegin Lister. Olusola Ogunsola. Andrew Parkinson. Sophie Pike. Stephen Pomfret. Misha Preferado. Miles Quinn. Jessica Rees. Marie Shimacek. Zara Sedgwick. Catherine Trevor. Morton Watkins. Mei-Ling Yang. Yushan Yen. For Media Studies, Kerry Bennett. Louis Brennan. Michelle Brown. Also awarded the prize for the Best Cultural Studies dissertation, Cindy Cheng. Holly Cooper. Lauren Dyson. Jessica Ford. Lucy Goddard. Georgia Green. Melis Kanur. Jessica Kitt. Hugh Lamb. Pascal Lespierre. Georgia Lewis. Lauren Lightstone. Lisha Lin. Yi Luck. Amelia Lupson. Alex Savage. Lily Swain. Isabel Winstanley. Nicola Winter. Yu Jun Yu. Yun Ju. For Media Studies and French with Study Abroad Year, Jocelyn Castel. For Media and Cultural Studies, Magdalena Dudzinska. Isabel Garrett Peel. Sylvia Gregory. Beth Hillier. Samuel Lelliot. Robert Loxham. Demi McGarrell. Xijia Wang. And Andrew White. For Media and Cultural Studies with Study Abroad Year, Claudia Alasauskaita. Fuang Lin Le. For music, Chantel Batterby. Olivia Bhattacharjee. Hannah Clark. Also awarded the David Osmond Smith Prize for the best piece of written musicology, Hannah Cooper. James Cross. Rosanna Disney. George Genn. Robert Grist. William Groves. Hannah Harris. Naomi Holland. Samantha Jenkins. James Maffei. Sam Marley Payne. Helen Mulhall. Elizabeth Rowe. And also awarded the prize for the best mark in a single final year music major, John Schaffer. Amy Squirrel. Alexander Warburton. Alison Wright. Chancellor, I will now present to you for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Lei Chin Pang. Craig Haslop. Ian Morgan Williams. And Suzanne Wilkins.
Can you read this extra?
And Chancellor for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Media Studies, and also jointly awarded the prize for the Best Media Studies dissertation, Denisha Ruckley. And Chancellor, this concludes the list of graduands from the School of Media, Film and Music.
Chancellor, I present to you graduands who were unable to graduate earlier with their schools. From the School of English, Bachelor of Arts for English, Josie Carder. From the School of History, Art History and Philosophy, for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in American Studies with study abroad year, Martha Blanchett. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts for American Studies in English with study abroad year, also awarded the Siobhan Kilfeather Prize for the Best Dissertation in the School of English, Charles Bliss. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts for Art History and French with study abroad year, Jessica Baker. Carlotta Jerez. Also awarded the John Cruikshank Prize for the Best Achievement in a French Essay, Dawn Ng. Chancellor, you now have a moment to reflect on whether you believe you've received sufficient love during the ceremony to confer their degrees. How was it for you?
Can we do it again? That was fantastic.
It was good.
It was more than good, yeah.
Excellent. Chancellor, you have now met all the graduands being presented to you at this ceremony, and the moment has come for the formal conferral of degrees of the University of Sussex. I therefore ask you to confer their degrees on those presented to you and to the other graduands who have indicated their wish to graduate in absentia at this ceremony.
I formally confer degrees on all those referred to by the Vice-Chancellor. Congratulations. Yes! Woo! So that happened. Well, that was by far the best ceremony I have ever attended this afternoon. Do you know, I have to say, that is probably one of the warmest receptions I think I've ever got in all the years I've done this. So, and I think it's probably also, and I'm not being modest here, it's probably the first time in my life that I've been picked up by a woman. Better late than never. Congratulations to everyone, including Honoris Causa as well. And well done, family and friends. Some of you were truly embarrassing. You have my undying respect for that. But do you know what? Some people are going to have trouble with their vocal cords tomorrow, I'm sure. But families, friends, they've been with you, graduates, all along the way. Difficult times, and today as well, enjoyment today. So a big hand for the families and friends. So as your time here at Sussex draws to a close, we hope that you will keep us in your thoughts, minds, hearts, and remain connected to us as alumni. There are those present here today that have been associated with your success, that look upon these days with huge fondness and enormous pride. So please show your appreciation for your teachers, tutors, and staff. It's like being at Pamplona. Whatever your next step may be, employment, further study, or time out, I wish you the very best. In closing the ceremony, the Chancellor of a university is supposed to say something inspiring or impart some wisdom. And since I find myself neither inspiring or wise, you're all going to be getting out of here a lot quicker than you thought. However, we have paid the rent on the room for a little bit longer, so I might as well share some thoughts with you. I apologise for my own, because they may seem a bit simplistic, and if there are good ones there, they're shamelessly stolen from other people. But I was filming last week, and we got to having a conversation on set, and it sparked off with someone saying that they didn't think that they were remarkable. They thought they were shallow. Another actor said, you know, I think I'm quite shallow. And my first thought was, well, you're an actor. Duh. I speak from experience. Not very deep experience, obviously. But no, we got to talking about why. So why do you say that? And he was saying that it's because his parents were amazing. He said they kind of marched against things, they protested, they still go to kind of places where, most regular people wouldn't go and everything. And he said, I don't do these things. And it got me thinking about what makes someone remarkable, what's a remarkable act, what's heroic, that kind of stuff. And the dictionary definition of heroism is someone who's admired for having courageous or noble qualities. And traditionally, you grow up and tales of military feats, and the people who rush into burning buildings to save someone, or doctors who go to kind of war-torn areas to administer help, test pilots, astronauts, all that kind of stuff. And, the image that always came to my mind about courage, ordinary courage, was the guy with shopping bags on his way home, who stood in front of the tanks at Tiananmen Square and didn't let the tanks pass. He was just an ordinary guy who just spontaneously did something that many of us wouldn't be capable of. And it suddenly struck me with all those examples of traditional kind of heroes. The one thing we forget is that there is choice. They make choices. But they're also, the right person for the right circumstance at the right time. And I thought, well, what if you're not in the military, and you're not a doctor? Supposing you never pass a burning building in which someone needs to be saved, or find yourself in front of a tank, or any of those things. Does that mean that you can never do something heroic, and never do something remarkable as an act? And I thought, when I was talking to this guy on set last week, and I said, well, maybe you're not meant to do what your parents did. That's what makes them them. And you maybe have to find what it is that, you have to do. Because not everyone's meant to be an Alexander the Great or a Shakespeare or a Gandhi or a Mandela or whoever. So, and I think, if classic heroism is kind of right person, right circumstance, and right time, I thought, what about everyone else? And then I thought, the second thing that came into my head, image after the tank guy, were my parents and people like my parents. And I thought they were just one of those kind of billions of people, like, parents, grandparents, families, friends, you guys here today, who've gone about what they needed to do in a quiet, constant way. Go to work, raise families, all that kind of stuff. And the thing they have in common with those classic heroes is there are choices, and choices are made. And, everyday people make choices. Some of them turn out well, some of them turn out not so well. But whatever the outcome, they're still there, ready to make another choice. The fact that a choice doesn't work out as well as they thought doesn't make them stop making choices. And I thought, well, that's life, really, isn't it? It's you're going along the tracks, you come off the rails, and you get back, and then you come off, and you get back. And that's what life is. And, all these people, you people here today, have come off the rails, but bloody hell, you've got back on every single time. You've survived. And I think there's great nobility in survival. And I just thought, well, aren't ordinary people making those decisions that, think they affect one person, they could end up affecting all of us. Aren't they just being the right people for the right circumstance at the right time? And that's what got me thinking that actually, the fact that people make choices and take responsibility for the outcomes is what's remarkable and is what's heroic. To be bold enough to make those choices in whatever circumstances you're given. As I firmly believe that we are the sum total of our choices. That's who we are. That's how we express who we are. That what defines us is always what we do next, not what just happened to us. And if you choose to do nothing, then at least make that an active decision. Don't be a child of fate. Don't be someone to whom things happen, because then you just become fashioned by other people's preferences. And this conversation that we were having on set, we kind of started talking about, he said, well, maybe I'm not destined to do it. And we started talking about destiny and fate and all that kind of stuff. And I said, look, I'm not sure. I've never been sure what the whole fate, destiny kind of deal is, really. It so much depends on, where you've been brought up and how you view it. And I kind of said to him, I said, what's the difference between fate or destiny and random events? Is there a difference? One sort of is a bit more comforting because it's suggested that, it's predetermined and there's a pattern, and the other one is just Brownian motion. And I said, look, I'm quite happy to, from a romantic point of view, I'm happy to accept that there's something called destiny. And so, where I was born and who I was born to and, when you die, those things, fair enough. Everything else feels like random acts because some good stuff happens and some crap stuff happens. And I thought, well, everything else must be choices, right? Because I can't control either of those first two. I can't control destiny, whatever that is. I can't control random acts because of their very nature. So the only thing that's left to me are making choices. And I thought, okay, that's the thing then. It's about making choices. That's the one thing that we can do while we're here. And I thought, well, the other thing that I've learned is never be afraid to make mistakes. Just make sure each mistake is a new one. If you keep making the same mistake over and over again, you're just an idiot. I'm sorry. It's got to be the definition of it. As Thomas Edison said, I failed my way to success. And I thought, well, what's success then? What are we aiming for? Is it money? Is it fame? Is it altruistic work? And I suddenly started thinking about the people that I find really inspiring. And they're all successful. I admire people who are really good in their fields, but the thing that makes them successful and inspiring to me is that they have one common element, and that is compassion. They all express compassion, and they may be incredibly wealthy and incredibly smart and incredibly brilliant, but that on its own isn't inspiring to me. The added bit of compassion is expressing their humanity. They're generous of spirit, and they're not doing it because for some effect or for adulation or respect or anything like that. They're doing it because that's who they are. They're expressing who they are. As Maya Angelou, the great American poet, said, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And I thought, well, maybe that's it then. Maybe that's the whole achievable point of being here, to connect with other people, to try and understand others, and thereby understand oneself, to show your humanity to one person, and therefore express it to the universe. And then I think you matter. And I also realized that the one thing I don't really need is sympathy. It's nice when someone gives it because of the spirit in which they give it, but I don't really need it. I think what I need is empathy. You know, that's what I crave, to be understood, to be got. So those were things that we were thinking about on set. And then I put on a false moustache and had a scar painted on. Life is unpredictable. Roll with it. Move with the flow of the water rather than spend your life just fighting against it. And accept that unpredictable isn't a byword for bad. You may be aware that Sussex was my first choice when I applied to university all those years ago. I didn't get in. Apparently my grades weren't good enough. So I took my business elsewhere, scraped through my degree, worked in jobs I wasn't happy in, changed careers, but I waited. I waited and waited until all those people who were responsible for me not getting into Sussex had either retired, had been deported, were in prison, or had just become plain dead, and I got in as Chancellor. And so... my point being, life is unpredictable and not necessarily bad. The other thing I think it's really important to remember, and I may be preaching to the converted here, is about being creative and to continue to be creative in whatever you're doing. Einstein said that logic can get you from A to B, your imagination can get you anywhere. And it reminds me of a story that I heard recently from a head teacher, my son's head teacher, who said, he related this story about a girl who's about 5 or 6, and she's kind of drawing a picture. And the teacher comes over and says, oh, that's nice, what are you drawing? And she says, I'm drawing God. And the teacher said, well, that's really interesting because nobody knows what God looks like. And she said, they will in a minute. Who's to say, eh? Please never try to waste an experience. If you're not enjoying something, then what are you learning from it? And if you're not enjoying it and you're not learning from it, then why are you doing it? Stop, do something else. Sometimes, the solution to a problem isn't right in front of you because it's not meant to be. Sometimes it's just sitting there waiting behind your next mistake. There's a story that I really like. It's from a film, but what the hell? About 2 mice that fell into a bowl of cream and couldn't get out. And one mouse decides, well, that's it. I mean, it's impossible, and just gives up and drowns. And the other mouse just struggled and thrashed around and splashed and struggled and splashed until he'd churned all the cream into butter. And he simply stepped out of the bowl. Sometimes the struggle is the solution. To leave you with, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. You all knew that, didn't you? That's not the special bit. So you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so listen twice as much as you speak. And finally, remember to have your 5 veg or fruit a day. This may include tinned stuff, raw and cooked, but a slice of lemon in a gin and tonic doesn't count, sorry. You all made remarkable choices to get here. You made choices in completing your courses. You made the choice to succeed, thus bearing out David Bowie's line that we can be heroes, even for just one day. You're all amazing creative people. All you have to do now is to realize that and create that with every decision you now make. Express who you are. I leave you with a quote from Albert Camus, who said, when you have once seen the glow of happiness on the face of a beloved person, you know that a man can have no vocation but to awaken that light on the faces surrounding him. In the depth of winter, I finally learned that within me lay an invincible summer. Be creative, dream big, be passionate, never, never, never give up. I wish you all happiness and good fortune in everything you do. I officially declare this graduation closed.